Thank you very much, National Chairperson of the EFF and the Deputy President, the SG, DSG and the TG, the former SG, the former National Chairperson, and our guests. We want to take this opportunity to thank the Mabuza Artemis for looking after one of our own, and when he approached them, they did not hesitate to accommodate him. And when he left, we were very skeptical in the EFF because, you know, when you go to serve articles, you earn very little from what you got from Parliament. And all the packs are gone. And I had to ask, are you going to be carrying packs of Mabuza, or how does it work? Because we know the typical arrangement. And he said, yeah, that is going to be the situation. At the beginning, we discouraged it because we thought it is not going to work for my SG. You've got a house, you've got a family, you've got a car, and all manner of things. But he was determined. He had an appointment with the future, and he was committed to make it to that appointment. And here we are today because of a man who had a vision, and he pursued his vision. He was struggling when Vuyani tells me that when he calls them and they don't pick up, he complains a lot that I'm rejected, yeah. People have thought about me, you think because you don't have money, people don't want you. So it is those usual petty complaints, and then he's always looking for company, because when you've got company, you are guaranteed drinks and proper meal and all manner of things. I mean, at some point I was told this guy stays in Captain Park, and I didn't understand why is the former SG staying at Captain Park. What happened? I had to call him and ask, what's happening? No, I've made arrangements. I'm coming back to the center now. Okay, so what's going to happen when you finish this thing? No, I'm going to open a law firm in Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga. There's no money in Mpumalanga. Which cases are you going to deal with in Mpumalanga? Unless you want to deal with witchcraft cases. So you can't do that. You can't go to Mpumalanga. You must open here in Gauteng and deal with serious matters. Yeah, I know you are right, President, but I must have a satellite in Mpumalanga and Nelspruit, because he wants to brag to his peers there that, you know, the people he went to school with, they must know, no, there is Gardee Artemis there. So even with that in Mpumalanga, I can see already that we will not succeed, because his mission is to have an office in Nelspruit. So we can have all these offices, but I must have an office in Nelspruit. Yes. So is that type of a person. He's a bit old, but he doesn't behave like that. He's not an ageist. He doesn't throw around his age easily to try and intimidate those who are younger and impose his ideas on others. So we see his involvement in the legal fraternity as a very strategic move, because we've got that space not necessarily transformed. And we've got a situation where we must grow and groom lawyers who are going to become advocates and senior counsels. But the real destiny is to get proper judges. And it is through proper cases, SG, that you will become a proper judge, because we do not have proper judges. We have a big problem with the Constitutional Court. There is a gross incompetence in the Constitutional Court. And we must not talk about it because it's an attack on the judiciary. Who are these judges who don't want to be criticized, who think they're above the Constitution? Judges are not above the Constitution. Judges must be subjected to the Constitution. It is incompetent. I'll give you one example. They say to the lawyers on that thing of Talimpo, what is it called? The rescission. In 2 days' time, you must have submitted. They say on Saturday, you must have submitted your replies and this and that in 2 days' time. Now it's a month. They've not said anything. But they told lawyers to run and do everything in 2 days. That which lawyers, a matter that lawyers did and argued within 2-3 days, it's now a month. The country is burning. The fact that there is no mall that is being looted, it doesn't mean the country is not burning. There is uncertainty in the country as to what is going to happen. They sit there, send some correspondence to ask about international law, which is accommodated in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. You don't have to borrow anywhere in the world. All those issues you're asking us, they are well taken care of in the Constitution. You accept Zondo's application on the basis of agency, and then you take 3 months, 4 months to make a ruling on agent matter. So what is agent? That's a redefinition of agency. And then you issue directives that judges must resolve cases within 3 months. The highest court takes 4 months to resolve an agent application, which they still argue is agent. What is agent about? A matter that you resolve on after 4 months. There's nothing agent. By virtue of it, having failed to come back to us within a short space of time, you yourself have said to us, through your actions, there's nothing agent. If that is not gross incompetence, what is that? They must be told. And someone says to me, you know the way you criticize judges and the way you interview them. One day when you appear in court, whether they will send you to jail for a very long time. I said 2 things. I said, if they send me to jail for a very long time, it will be because I stole or I killed a person. My conscience will be clear that I deserve jail. If they send me to jail even when I've not done what they say I've done, I will know that they are pursuing me for holding political views. My conscience will still be clear that I've not done anything wrong, even when I'm in prison. Because I'm not going to be scared to speak because I'm scared of prison. No judges are going to silence us here because we anticipate that one day we may appear before them, even when we are not wrong. They will say we are wrong. They've got a score to settle with us. That will be an abuse of the bench. And when people engage in abuse, let them use it. History will absolve us. We're not going to be scared and say, no, things are fine when they are not. You cannot have courts ruling matters on the basis of political dynamics. You consider what is politically relevant now, and then you take decision based on that, not on the law. So, as you enter this legal fraternity, you must know that part of what we need to do is to transform the fraternity itself, but also the judiciary. Because you can have good lawyers who prepare their cases, who argue beautifully, but if you've got judges that do not listen to arguments and law, but look at who is before them, then it's not worth having good lawyers. You will rather go represent yourself, because anyway you know that we know if it's this one, is going to win. If it's that one, is going to lose. Judges must be told by other judges that you can't sit on a panel of parliament. Senior judges sitting in a panel of parliament, advising parliament to constitute pass the law that is going to trial the public protector. Another judge comes and says, you are a judge, you can't advise. You can't be an advisor. What type of a judge are you advising people? But that judge should have known that I can't do that. So we are trusting you, comrades, that as you grow in this legal fraternity, you'll appreciate the fact that we have a bigger responsibility, and that responsibility is to make sure that our courts function on the basis of the Constitution, because we are a constitutional democracy. And once we don't function on the basis of the Constitution, then we are going to make mockery of our democracy. It will never work. So we need you to go there and serve. We need the black lawyers to serve black people with integrity, with commitment, with the intention to win. You know, and always when I talk to lawyers, they say, he says black lawyers are incompetent. No, I'm saying, when you go into Pick n Pay and you approach a cashier and there is a white madam in front, the madam is treated with a smile and all types of, it's a black person there, the cashier is a black person. Yeah, hello madam, do you need a plastic? Okay, thank you. Hey, without plastic. Without plastic. The attitude changes completely when it's another black person. So we must love ourselves so much that when we see another black person, we see ourselves. It is on the basis of self-hate that we do not love ourselves. So we must love ourselves so that when there is a person who requires a service of a lawyer, and this person is a black person, you must go all out. Yes. Must go all out, because black people are not used to be served. You must serve them in such a way that they never stop talking about it. But you know, I've traveled all my life. It is for the first time I received this type of service from Mabuza attorneys, from Gardee attorneys, because you are saving your own. When we say this government is worse than apartheid, it doesn't mean apartheid is better. We mean that to be beaten with a varam club by your own brother is worse than being beaten with a varam club by a stranger who knows nothing about you and about your suffering and your struggles. It's so painful. It's not only the pain, it goes to the heart. That's what the ANC government is doing to us. The type of service they give to black people is more painful, worse than what the apartheid did to us. Yeah. Because it is black people who should be understanding and appreciating our pain and know where we come from. They don't need theory about who we are. They know the type of life we live. I drove in Northwest on something that was supposed to be a tar road. And it was so terrible. But what made matters worse, that road passes the offices of the municipality. So I thought it was some local office where the parents say, the chambers, the mayor, the municipal manager is in this office. The road in front of municipal offices is not proper. So can you imagine what's going to happen to other roads where they don't even go in the villages? Because they've forgotten about black people, because they suffer from self-hate. So you're not going to be that type who suffer from self-hate and give our people a cheap service and love money more than loving your own people. You must do pro bono work, especially for victims of rape and gender-based violence. You must do pro bono work for village women. It must be in your policy that if it's a go-go struggling and there are matters that involve this go-go from a rural area, in this law firm I will do it pro bono because I know what it means. When you read that a gogo is being raped in KwaZulu-Natal, in Eastern Cape, you need to go there and say, I'm going to make sure that this matter is attended to and is attended to properly. This gogo must get justice. When the students get arrested because they are fighting for free education, you must go and release them because you are a lawyer for human rights. As an activist, as a commissar, your responsibility is to fight an injustice. And in fighting injustice, you cannot expect reward. We don't want to be paid to fight an injustice. Where you see an injustice, you must get involved, and get involved free of charge. Because we need to fight this institutionalized injustice, where black people are just rejected and are treated as subhuman, not as full human beings. So it is now in our hands. Mabuza has helped you. You must now go and help others. We help people in the EFF. We don't want anything from them. We even tell them, we don't want you to vote for us for as long as you can adopt the next person and help that next person. Then we must help each other. Let's not be obsessed with wanting to be loved by white people. No, we don't want their love. We must love ourselves, Reina. It's enough. Once we love ourselves and start taking care of each other, we don't need anyone to love us. And it can't be a lip service love. It must be a real love where we materially intervene to change the material conditions of another struggling black child. There must be an obsession with that. You are a lawyer, you are an attorney, you are an SC, you are all of that. You have no 5 families that you buy groceries for. Poor, child-headed families. You just go to a local store there and say to them every month, I'm going to give you 5,000. Those people, you give me vouchers for the whole year, they come fetch grocery from here. Let's take care of our people ourselves, especially we who can help. And you have never done anything if you can't help anyone who's not going to do anything for you. Your relatives, you help them because you want them to attend your funeral. To be there and give beautiful speeches about you. No. By helping relatives, you are not helping black people. Those are your people. Those is automatic. You can't even talk about that. Help people who are not related to you. 5, 10 families, poor. 1,000 grocery every month. If we black people who are successful do that, take a conscious decision to say, I'm going to adopt these families and give them food, not houses. We can't afford houses, food, and see how much impact you will have in the lives of those children found in those families. Their mindset will change completely. They will now focus, because instead of focusing, they are thinking of where the next meal is going to come from. I know this because I went to an interview when I was doing Standard 10, where my aunt said to me, Julius, you have to go and look for a job, because you can see here we're struggling. I went, I won in a union, an interview to be an organizer. Those comrades called me on the side and said, there's too much potential here. Please, go back to school. They came and pleaded with my family, leave this comrade to go to school. So many of our black brothers leave school to go and look for food. But in their village where they come from, there are 10 successful black people who can just adopt them. and change their lives and change their lives forever, and say to them, I want nothing. Just go and help the next person. That's all we want. We need to produce caring professionals, not clever blacks who are obsessed with self, but clever blacks who are obsessed with black people and wanting to help black people. So as we celebrate you here, we hope that we are celebrating another black success. And black success doesn't mean individual success. It means success of many, many other black people who are going to be helped by you. Do not forget your family. Do not forget your wife who stood by you in this material world. When you had no money, when you had quit your job, when there was no guarantee if this thing will work or not, she continued working, feeding children, staying with children, allowing you to do what you want to do because she believed in you. Once you become a lawyer, once you get money, you look at her, you see her ugly, you see her old. She irritates you because you run with the high heels ladies in courts. You start looking down at your own wife because she's no longer fit for you. But you forget what made you. Because if she was not a supportive wife, you would have been a terrible student at Mabuza Attorneys because your head was not going to function properly. Why? Moto sugar food. Yeah, no. Ever you are a good student who photocopy, you never fought with anyone there. It's because at home there is stability. The wife understands we're going to have 2 years of struggle, but if we succeed, we're going to live much better than what we're subjected to. She's excited. She's looking forward to good things. As at 1 hour, good things, you have moved out of the house. Because we forget where we come from. We forget who we are. Especially when we arrive here in Johannesburg. I'm not here to stay here. I don't have a place to stay. It's not a place to stay here. That's why there are no cemeteries here in Santana. I'll never to. You are here to work. So you must work and go back to your wife and your family. Do not forget her. You must never forget her, because she did not forget you when you had nothing. You must respect people who stand with you when you have nothing, when you are nobody, when you are no SG, when you are no member of parliament. O pusha the throne, takwa Mabuza Attorneys. O se sale, are munna wak. Ramulebo elalie, and she's very happy. I also know all her tomo first time. This one, it's yours for standing by me. Yes. And because only 2 years, yes, as a great present, as a restaurant, as a holiday, when things go back to normal, Robert Hakipev, it's happening for real. Why? You'll be unleashing black love. Thank you very much.